we have a viable, good branch. This branch is a very viable branch, and I have no doubt that there's a lot that this branch can do, and we're very far from the desired state. But we can tell you from the facts, as an NEC member, you can report back how Popana NEC level. Please tell them that we have a very united BEC. This BEC, there might be faults that but all is that this BEC is united and this BEC is focused on. And this BEC, every BEC will do form a Quran and focused on the work. But not only that, is that this BEC has actually taken work that is going to do in the next 1 year. That's remaining. Our next BPGM is October, next year, 2025. Now, the BEC went on a strategic retreat and the resolution that every subcommittee at least tell us what the 5 things they are going to do. Cover up 5. Although others, of course, they have more. And from that, we then turn that into a very clear and everything. But that way, it's also anchored on the 5 pillars. There are 5 pillars that you are saying, if we housing, these are the things that you are saying you are going to do. But at least there are 5 areas that you need to cover. One of the pillars is mass mobilization, community engagement. We can't be ANC and be meeting like this only. What are we doing about engaging communities and partnering with communities? So whatever that we do, we must make sure that the work that we do is out there and communities are mobilized in the work that we do. That's the first pillar. The second pillar, which is very important, we do so many things as the ANC, but are only known by us. We must make sure that we take the work that we do and take it to communities. Media, social media, very key. Facebook will be in, take our fellow, we must be seen there all the time. Because Papa Marashama coming to it, or EFF, they're big on that, but sometimes our election results here. Sebashaya gets it. Oh, please, Now, Comrade Parks, to the extent that in the last elections, the elections before 2021, we had lost 2 victories. Now, that May 2029. May 29. Now, May 29, comrade, those VTs, we've won them back and in huge numbers. So comrades dedicated their time in those areas and we've regained our numbers. We might have nationally total 40%, but we can tell you, in Basil Zuma, we regained some of the lost ground. And it's because of the hard work done by this branch. The other pillar, again, that's mobilization. Issues around structure. It's one of the pillars. You know, is that we want all the structures to be in place. We have to that extent in our branch, we have the SBCTs, the sub-branch coordinating teams, launcher 1 by 1. The latest one relaunched in this area, Calabra. So we have SBCT here, and now as the ANC, to the extent of going forming street committees. That's the level in which, for the granular, that's the work that we want to go to that. The third one, or the fourth one, is political education. Because we are a political organization, fairly. We must always be informed by a political understanding of issues that we need to do. So in your portfolio, all the time, we need to see political work and sense of political work happening in the subcommittees and the work that we do. The last one is issues around governance, service delivery. Comrades must be seized at all times with those issues and things that we need to do. So it is on the premise, Comrade Marx, Comrade level, that we can say our branch, we are on the right path. We don't miss any BCs, we don't miss any BGMs. But we can tell you we have BGMs all the time. And we make sure that the BGMs become exciting to follow Budabat. So Comrade Park says we go back to the branch, to your NEC. Please tell them that we still have our own challenges, of course, in the branch. Those challenges are disobedient because issues around membership is still a big issue in the branch. There are people who support a country of membership. And I'm sure it's not only this branch. Many branches were struggling. So if there is a membership, we can be very happy from the parts. It remains a very important issue. And of course, there and there we still have huge problems still at the door. Whether issues are service delivery and those related matters are issues that this branch is engaged with on a continuous basis. And they remain a challenge in many areas. Issues around portable housing and many other issues, they remain. Orlando is the oldest township. And we expect, really, for some of these backlogs that we have, that we should actually prioritize. Some of the people, that there must be a program at least, all of your committee. Number 18, that's on Orlando East. What 21 and what 21. At least there must be a sizable number. When Comrade Parks was mayor, we could manage to take people by the high. What's on Orlando? Bring the back, what's on Orlando? Nabakina go off. Rankabatu, Rabatu Samora, Nabakina go 200. Nabakina go many people. So even now, comrades are saying it can be such a big project, so many numbers that Paco Orlando do not benefit. So those are some of the challenges that we have in the branch. But we are seized for as long as we know what are challenges in the area. And we must have a plan on how to deal with those. So we have planned, and we want to partner, of course, with this plan. Comrades, welcome. Welcome, all of you. You're welcome. Sepo, Akawana, all those that have just come in now from visiting comrades, please stand up and say hi. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Welcome. Comrades, we are going to take Comrade Millicent to do a membership and just understand where are we with regards to membership. Over to you, President.
Matimba, Aina, Manda, Manda, Mashu, Manda. So, status separate comrades, we have 102 members in good standing. I study at comrades. Yes, we know that we are a branch in good standing, but we have 102 members. By the time we go to BGM, a foreign one, because we are not going to be BGM too. Like us, we are not going to be BGM. But by the time we feel to see BGM, the one that must correct. Challenges, so we need to work hard on that. And then we have 5 in grace period. So we can't say it's right, must add and 5. So the challenge is now comrade we have a lot of members who are in NA, 75 members that are in NA, and most of the members that are in NA, they've paid already. But the challenge was they paid before. What they said to us, they said those who paid before E12, they are October, they are the ones who are facing the challenge. So we need to write a letter to RBC, to RS, so that they can be able to cover things. I know we have close to 22 members that we must submit so that our number can go up. Comrades, the membership, we know that we have BC, EC, it's always foraging. Now, my register is what Peru's comrades. If you register, we always forage comrades. There's no way that Sisha is not foraging. I think maybe Sisana will have to tell me today. Sisa Sebasha. We still have 1 year to go on. Even though we have challenges to BC, we have 2 members. I have Barzina due to only one secretary in Portia, and then only one challenges themselves. So if Shala would be there, they won't be able sometimes to attend. But voluntarily, they will now who will give us in the So, comrades, I'm going to explain more in membership. Comrades, the quarterly bullying. I need to ANC Women and putting more than the way and shade in the high. But the challenge that we have more than the high. Hey, since then I say accept approval of my members that we don't even know. So, as the branch, we said, because of our powers to open, we check everybody. The address here, phone number here. What we're going to do now, from now on until E17, last is where I'm going to break. We're going to check them and then Sibabis, so that you can see them one-on-one. Sibabo, Namitabanya Spas, doesn't delay from the card. So in this is where the Sibabis one-on-one. Sibabo, Nutaboba, I need to see nothing I said to you. So what was the news? So those members, interview them. As much as Joburg is phone, we do one-on-one. We do one-on-one. Even the BC members, one-on-one, you want reports in the check. You sit with them. So also we are going to do that with all the members that we must approve. We're going to do one-on-one, and then that's when we approve them. We say our full number member, but we cannot just approve anyone. As comrades. So we're going to do that. And then comrades, as that we are one with us as a membership. We are a member in good standing. You have the right to check your own membership. Nobody has been another in check, a comrade, in fact, could be you should be allowed to see the comrade, but who never right to check anyway. I need to have Nama looking to take who are it. So, never right to who's check always, we have to come at 100 franc comrade, only for 5 years. 5 years, my penny in 5 years, then we will be Europe. The ANC is but my pen has been a challenge with comrades and ask us. But medicine pattern, yes, medicine pattern. 20 rand, but we don't challenge to come about 20 rand. So by the time we 20 rand, people have seen some BGM, we are no longer just here. We be some in a food comrade. I ban this. I ban the I hear you. We are not to make such a succeeded. So please, let's check our membership. Also, we are going to adopt all those. We had volunteers at I-43. 43 volunteers, Labra, Shala Apona, Kuma, door to door. If they can stand up, comrades, that's to show comrades, Suman, never need to door to door. Every day. Thank you, comrades. We do have Kulama comrades, the comrades, we do have comrades who are not yet our members, who are volunteers. So, Sinte, Kulama member, Lao, who've been doing door to door. She's over Niga, she's over Patalel. I know it's not allowed, but to say it's a ball, but comrades are going to pay you once. Don't once. After that, you must pay for your membership. But it's a boss. It's a man who tells you it's not going to come 150. So she's about to pass off Patalel, she's going to them 250. So she don't Patalel a man to strike. So the way in Kumbu, unfortunately, I don't know how to say. Yeah. So, comrades, we'll do that, comrades. So, Suzonen Zala membership, Sinfa de Portal, and then Suzon approve, and comrades, which in the Abanye base. So, that's what you are going to do, comrades. Sabomana, comrades, which in Italy. And then, comrades, Lava comrades, not a problem there, comrade parts. We have members, our Tunu Patala, 2014, 2013. But already I think back national. So comrades, we did ask about their challenge there, which how can we resolve that issue? Comrades, Bate Abuna Ubuti, you can join Ubusha. So you must pay your money. Have 2014. So you must count 100 rand. 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19. And it is paid on 19. So we should over from 2020 until March. So comrades must pay that much. Maybe we die. So go on and ask for What I'm phone and it's good to record, comrades. They are phone good to record. But never I think she's a mistake. So when you tell like a comrade, Nalababa Patali, the comrade, there are those who pay. Nalababa Patali, the Vienna, the time matters 7 is the killing. I know about comrade Mahauta, Vaiba Patala. So comrades, what they said, medicine for a good portal. Then, after we for a good portal, let's hide deep later. Means medicine started in each orbit, then Basil Zuma said. So now our shade, what is the comrades, I think, let me stop here.
Thank you very much, Comrade Secretary. Comrades, that's the report. That's where we are with regards to the Tabata membership. I thought before Kulela leadership to speak, are there any questions, points for clarity before we turn up? We are well. And we know some of them. And we have a list here on. Is there any point that needs to be clarified? Are we all covered? I'm covered. Thank you very much. Now we'll go to an RC member. Community have been introduced earlier on. National community in Natana community in various portfolios. RC community. At some stage, community Pax was ya ka le tshedi mo le ANC o so ga kaofela aspete aspete sa one on one what mo ya la pano ya tatazela uthi awani sponsor ka sekra dala sponsor na committee over to you.
Isipani Joya,
because if everybody has their own interpretation, their own understanding of why do we have the GNU, and also having the alliance partners who are saying we don't agree, to this DNB, so it becomes a problem. I'm hoping that anything that is sitting on that has said today between the office balance and the SACP will take us out of this problem and confusion that we have. So South Africa wants an accountable ANC problem, and very transparent way. They don't hide from the masses of the people that you are saying you are meeting, the things that they need to know. South Africa wants an ANC that will put in economic transformation programs that are going to be able to make us break the cycles of poverty and break this number of this percentage of unemployment in the country. And that is why we are appreciating social and all the governments who are focusing on building the economy. That we see the economy is coming okay. Even what is that bank? It is this week we're not going to follow. Who's the bank here now? You know, so but dropping the rates or whatever this week. So I got from my dealership coverage type who said, please note your installment is updated. So it just dropped a bit. And I was like, hey, to write that you're important. You know, so that shows that our government and our diplomacy government complaints are focusing on making sure that our economy is revived. So, and we appreciate that. So we're looking at that, and because South Africans want an economy that will be able to change their lives. A clarion call from South Africans complaints is our fight against corruption. And I know that we have the solution, but when the government president we cannot do it dealing with corruption. Listening to the commission. You know, we can raise the confidence of Africans able to deal with corruption. That is what we need. Also, our ability to fight for justice. We can't be talking about women and child abuse. We can't. You know, when we have programs and policies that are meant for the government and society to hold hands together and fight against GBV. I launched a program this week. We're starting to hear about GBV. Fighting GBV community cannot be issuing 25 fighting the 10-37. It has to be something that we're doing every day. You know? Also, when we're talking about fighting GBV, can we focus a bit on the boy child community? Because, and it's not that we must stop looking after the girl child, but we are neglecting this boy child who is actually the perpetrator. You know, because of the way society manages our boy children. In fact, one never wrong. It's us mothers who say to our boy children they must not cry. But we're saying our boy kids must not cry. Our boy kids must not show how emotional they can be. And we are encouraging them to suppress their emotions. Then the next person that they will take out their suppressed anger on is their female partners, their female colleagues, or their female friends. So when we're talking about GBV, we need to focus also on dealing with the boy child in an attempt to make sure that we are fighting for social justice in a comprehensive manner. So South Africa says to us, as the ANC, we hear you're talking about renewal, but we are very divided. We don't understand if you know what is your vision. For now, the comment minister, and you are going to be in a problem. You are not going to pay for anybody membership. Because that is wrong, complete. When you join the ANC, you must say and sign that oath. So if you comment minister, you don't membership, you don't like oath to go. You learn this like oath. Because when you submit that form, you must subject yourself to that oath. And since we are saying we want to renew members, our renewal must start by at membership point. You know? Because we need to even clean the organization. In my branch, the secretary was saying, do we know who are MK people in our branch? And I know one of them was fighting with the Limpopo. You know, went on TV and fought with the Limpopo when the Limpopo went to MK. That guy comes from my branch, we are growing together there and up together. You know, then when you are paying, when did we do the assessment? So this thing of supporting comrades, can we discuss it proper? So that you are sure that you are protecting the integrity of the organization. That is what people want. We want people that are joining the ANC because they want to join the ANC. You have dealt with your own little how I don't go to a number of I don't like any potential thing I done for 5 years. 5 years complaints. You have to regular membership. So I think as much as the idea is noble, not when I'm ready to deploy to the zone. I change my form. We must do things properly. We must, as the ANC community, we must strengthen democracy. And this thing of also buying people membership commitment is not strengthening democracy, because when democracy is strengthened, you commit to that democracy. You commit to the rules and that governs that democracy everyone can on. So I'm asking that let us not do those things, because we went about to have the comment. As I'm saying, and I'm saying it here, so that we say we work on it, like never going to let's support comrades, but not a membership of That one I refuse. So comrades, as I conclude, and I want to congratulate the branch, comrade group, I did say that you carry the torch of an organization that is rooted in its membership and in its community for starters. And we really appreciate that. Let us continue making sure that we also become a light for the people of this area, for the zone, and for Joburg. And of course, when we do our work, the province and national will also see that we do it. In fact, I'm not sure if we're still submitting branches for that award. You know, if we still do, then we just need to write the motivation and motivate for the branch to recognize that in times of trouble, in times of despair, what that remains a beacon of hope. And I'm happy that you're even recognizing our volunteers. You know, I missed the promises that the province made, comrades group. The province called comrades to a meeting, go City Hall, and they were promised. They said you will resource volunteers when they do elections work. Hey, Bokamhelo, Bomatepo, Baiji, the comrades and coordinators were so much in trouble because of the commitments that the province did. When the SC was here and he called us, it was raised, and he did say that he will engage the province on behalf of our volunteers. So you are a step ahead, and that is really appreciated. And as much as some promises were done, the branch says we appreciate you as our volunteers. We recognize the commitment that you gave to the elections, right? And we are saying, amidst all the challenges that we had, and all the insults, all the, I did the campaign, I didn't know this team, because I was here as well. We were told where to F off, we were told, and we still emerged, and we stood there and we said, we are servants of the ANC. So thank the leadership of the branch. And maybe I hope we are not deciding. We do like Saboy, so that whoever takes over from all of you understands the value that our volunteers give to the organization, and the fact that we always must show appreciation to them. With those ways, we thank you very much. Continue doing that good work and leading the branch. Hopefully, once we put in the motivation, we can come back with that award. Thank you, Amanda.
Me too.
Amanda. Well, thank you very much, Comrade CD. We are motivated, inspired. Thank you very much, Comrade CD. I'm sure your words did that to build. We don't really say the Basket. Because we really believe, as Comrade TV says, I mean, the strength of the ANC is in the branch. If we can build strong branches everywhere, comrades. I was saying to Comrade Stan before we came here, you know, if we can build everywhere, we are going to utility, we are pulling hope, we are guys that build strong, vibrant branches, partnering the communities. Comrades, I can tell you, we'll have a net 60%, 66%. We'll have it by far. The thing is, branches, we don't do enough. We do bare minimum. Now, the 100% is fine. Comrades, as Billy says, this 102, comrades, we should be more. We should be in blocks. What is subzone, everything. Doing ANC well in that way, comrades. Ordinary people there, we need those people. In that way, I can tell you, I can tell you, the ANC will regain by far. And I think what happens is part of this, in Community Parks, as I said, I'm working with a very motivated BEC. That's what I know. Those before me, 1 minute. You know, first time kicking as an MMC. I was not even on it, it was never from the parks. I went into the mayoral committee room 1 minute late. That's what we're doing now. So we keep here. I'm living in the son of several people. Oh, the day, okay, go late. So let me eat and that's why discipline and that's why we're doing well. We'll take comments later. At this stage, comrades, allow me to call on he is our brother. Because how about close Moyo and there's that affectionate comrade parts. You get this warmth, this love. I'll say it and very close. And we pride ourselves having a brother who is a minister. I don't call my name. That's Maxi Brian, minister. Hey, so I mean, a comrade that we have worked with for years. Comrades, I'm being serious when I said I've worked for Pax from when Pax was Santidem Pananya, from Zabalazo, throughout the years. And we're very proud that today, Comrade Pax is a minister. We're very proud that, you know, he coined a term, Comrade C, called stitching the city. You know, when you stitch, you know, I was speaking about the stitch. You stitch in something that's good. You're bringing it together. Now, Comrade Parks used to say, because we are creating, people can see a city divided, a city that's torn, where you find blanks, where you find the reason just not come together. And he said, let's take a good thing, but stitching so that we have that city tomorrow. And of course, Comrades, but we're really coming up. If you remember, the city was really coming. And of course, the rest is history. But we're glad, I mean, Comrade Parks is leading around how we take it. And we've been following the Comrade Parks. And we're proud on the path that Comrade Parks is leading. Comrade Parks.
Viva! Thank you very much, Comrade Chair. Kilabokhet BC and all the members of the ANC, and all other comrades present today. I thought now to go Comrade Wilson, Nasarawana, Narukatitun Nasakita, no what on Nasakita. Maybe I saw I was asking Comrade to review for what I could win up to Canada. Because, of course, as more comrades speak, the more topics come to mind. Because you kind of think maybe it's actually about some of the issues. And Comrade Ruby concluded on a point for the issue of the city of Johannesburg. Firstly, let me start by saying I have confidence that leadership in the city of Johannesburg under Comrade Badamorel has the capacity to take us out of the trap that the city is in. But I'm sure, as Comrade Ruby indicated, the government, and at no point at that time did we think it was possible for Kolota. It never crossed our mind from Masipala city of Johannesburg that they had to come to the city of Johannesburg recently. Unless you do something. Imagine, I see no change. What do you mean? I did rather Sapatali Maspalo of Ficati. Can I know the qualification of the what I score? Marakamula of Ficala Sapatala. Yanu Ultima Maspalago. It should be a very good thing for all of us when we sit and witness the challenges that Comrade Ganda and his collective deal for because imagine, cannot lose in Tiamabo. And all we can say is that Kamata's ANC, when we did not have the coalition, it was not possible because we knew for therefore this is what we did. It can't come as a surprise. We know for increasing in large numbers, and at some point, demand will outstrip supply. We knew that, in fact, the amount of water allocated to Johannesburg will remain consistent, notwithstanding for the number of people who got the number of Johannesburg has increased. We knew, we planned, we were able to anticipate and dealt with the problem. You know what how many days? After another 35 days, one of the announcements was that, you know, returning the problem, I know there's a problem. So to what I'm told, no more can edit to the tech. But what would say about the end of what they wrote was but he knew that the problem of water consumption is a serious problem. That instead of for river, he said, metsi a pompo go nesetsa lebala le tlhago le go tlhatswa dikoloi we can use Metia Punda to do that because Rasputin was attacked. Because he knew that the problem will be there. Of course, after 21 days, but 25 days, but challenge like a court. But now he comes back to when he says, and the reality is that now in the city there are challenges. But in the fact the leadership that is there understands the challenges, but also understands for it. We're not going to solve this problem. It is a difficult problem. It's a complex problem. Running the city of Johannesburg on its own is a very complex exercise. And because the ANC lost its electoral majority in 2016 and in 2019 in Johannesburg, or 2021 in Johannesburg, part of the problems we're experiencing today is because the ANC lost its electoral majority. Direct relations. You know, we took pride in the city of Johannesburg. For Johannesburg city power, we can comfortably say, for in 2016, in the bank balance, here city power, there was 3 billion rand plus. Because we were managing it as an institution community. We were managing it, we knew what has to be done. Kasheko reconnaissance Escomar authority. So of course we must be passionate about what's happening to our city. And we must support the leadership that is there to ensure that they are able to turn the situation around. And they have very few years to do it. They literally are left with about 2 years, if not less, to solve these complex challenges. Because that's not the Johannesburg we live. It's a different city from the one that we live. Its complications become increased over the period that we never imagined under the leadership of the ANC. So it is important that we support our councillors, our leadership, and the collective that in the city of Johannesburg to turn the situation around. We've had discussions with Comrade Dada to say, look, it's possibly a time where Johannesburg should assume responsibility for ensuring that you mobilize all of us. You mobilize provincial government, national government, business, civil society, and everything to turn this situation around. It's a big shift. It needs to be turned around, and all we can do is to add shoulder to the wheel to turn this city around. But as we do that, we also need to accept that 2026 is around the corner. We can't afford a situation where Johannesburg is led through government of local unity or national government and so on. Because we are taking together, they hold our hands behind our backs as we try to solve these problems. Even as we are the bigger party and we needed to lead the city of Johannesburg, there was at some point a demand here for no. Recovery suddenly ANC, Mararabaki ANC. So because we were committed to turning the situation around, okay, And don't get surprised when they see that, because the problem starts at the top. It's a leadership. If you don't have the right leadership, you are going to have problems. Because the leadership must set the agenda, the direction. They must understand the complexities and issues. But of course, even then, we never anticipated that we would have to deal with the problem at a provincial and international level. We never anticipated a situation where we would be sitting in cabinet. Well, I must say, with our colleagues, members of cabinet, and you would know that the issues that are being contested, the ones that are in the car, are the issues of solution. The Basic Education Laws Amendment Act, or the National Health Insurance Act. Ke yone melao e leng gore re ngangisana ka yone le bao ba re berekisang. So the issue of transformation is being confronted because the ANC did not get it. Put up and say, everybody must have equal access to life. Because that is life. When we say we want to build a equal health system through national health insurance. So we are saying that whether you are poor or rich, you must have equal access to Spetlele, to the PDC, and everything that you need. And they say, no, you are wrong. How can we be wrong to say, my lifespan and your lifespan must have an equal chance? Why is it that people do not accept that because of our history as a country, bophelo ba batho ba bantsho, in particular the poor, is shorter than that of their white counterparts, simply because of the level of income disparity? It's not like Mudimuri Bupile for I don't know, the Bopa to popular 60 years, popular 80 years. It's not true. It is because there's income disparities and equitable access to the right to health. So how would people for Kamala? What kind of people do that? When you don't think that actually having equal access to health is a very important thing. And Rabbi from time to time, you know what one will right, but we forget for it. Part of what I contribute to American aid, claim about tax. So I claim about tax, so our government can sponsor because I'm insured, government incentivizes me to be insured. Now all we're saying is, can everybody be insured? Then Ranabisa. On the more fundamental issues around transformation and equity in our society, we disagree fundamentally. And we're here because, of course, part of our problem is that we don't articulate our message. You know, Dayton McKenzie says it all the time. He says, you know, he says both in government and outside, in society. And you know, you guys, you are doing a very good job. Problem is not going you know, just because you are so modest as an organization, and because you don't do that, people don't see and appreciate the value of the ANC. But, you know, for us who are in Johannesburg, we can say we know when the ANC was fully in charge of Johannesburg, at the very least we were guaranteed for Escomagas spending tickets. Of course, they won't give credit where it's true, and they won't apportion the blame where it's true. I remember when we were seeing those lectures in Joburg, we stood up and said, this city is going to collapse. What you guys are doing is going to collapse the city. But you are so losers. You are so losers who are doing very well. This city is in good hands. And we said, but we can tell you. You know, we even offered, we even called, I don't know if I told you, we even called the other side of it, to say, you know, we have an interest in this thing succeeding. Because we live here, it's our city also, you know. We don't, I don't know his name, but let's not collapse the ship. But no, I don't want to go here. And now when we're paying the price, but no, it's the ANC. But look at the numbers, we can show you the trends for at what point did these things collapse. So as members of the ANC, those in government and those that are outside government, maybe we're not spending enough time with our people explaining miracle we are, explaining where we are, what the challenges are, and what we're resolving. And therefore people say, no, but we are waiting miracle. Now we sit in a situation where we're in a government of national unity and there's debate in the country whether the ANC took the right decision. So I thought I should spend a bit of time on this subject. Because after the elections, immediately after the elections, and the numbers were clear, the head of elections, Comrade Mseni, convened a team that he was working with, heads of committees in the ANC, that constituted what was the elections hall. He called us all and said, comrades, the elections results are with us. What do we do? Because we must give a report to the ANC. We must go and report back to our leadership that this is where we are. But we must also start thinking about what the solution to the problem is. Because we can't just go and say these are the numbers. So he said, as the head of elections, I have the duty to go to the national leadership of the ANC and say, these are the elections results and these are the scenarios. So we produced a report to go to the NEC, starting with the national office bearers, and said, look, these are the results and these are the options. And given these options, we have to apply our minds to what is the right option. And in the report, we gave a number of options. One of the options was, well, you know, we're at 40%, maybe let us go back and regroup. Let us occupy the opposition benches and go back and regroup. Get all our members to focus on the task of rebuilding the ANC, on the task of connecting with our people, on the task of ensuring that we bring back the ANC stronger than the way it is in the next elections. It was an option. And it was an option presented with its advantages and disadvantages. But part of the reality of that option was, okay, so if the ANC decides that we are staying out, what's going to happen? Because of course we know, because already there was reach out between political parties. Of course we know already the DA is not prepared to work with the EFF and MKP. So they want their moonshot. And we know that MKP and EFF don't want to work with those others. So it means that whoever establishes government will only have 30% or less of the electoral support. So there will be government, but there will be 30%. how does the ANC explain that to society? Whether it's formed by this side or that side, how do we explain to society? Okay. So Lenadi, you decided to self-preserve so that the government is established that won't function. So because what something is fundamentally wrong in that thought. And then we consider the option, okay, maybe we go with the, I always struggle to say that they are left-wing because sometimes their conduct does not suggest, but maybe we go with them. I mean, if you think about some of the pronouncements at KP, you would say that these people never had a relationship with the ANC. They were some of the most conservative views about society. These are the people that said they are going to lock our children in Robben Island for falling pregnant. That's their solution to the problem. You would say, for example, I saw their ANC. So you either go with them and you form a government and you unite under what is called the Black Parties Unite. Or you go with the moonshot people and you work on the basis that we will stabilize the country, the markets, and so on and so on. So you have the two options. Or in fact, you have the option of establishing at the time when we articulated, we said, a minority government with government of national unity characteristics. It's typical ANC now. A minority government, meaning that we won't, when we form government, we won't have 50% plus one, but we would be able to bring in other parties that still won't get us to 50% plus one. Therefore, we need what is called a confidence and supply agreement between the ANC and those that will support us to be in government, but won't be government. Or you have a government of national unity in its broadest definition. And our mandate was, comrades would recall, it was the 6th of June, because it was my birthday. I was trying to make we made a decision. On the 6th of June this year, the President, after the NEC addressed the nation, and said that we have agreed to establish a government of national unity, a minority government with characteristics of a government of national unity. And that is the mandate that we are giving as the negotiators to say, this is your starting point in the negotiations. Reach out to all the parties and talk to all the parties. And the team was led by the Secretary General of Congress. To say, reach out to all the parties, talk to every single party that's in Parliament. I think there are 19 parties. So we spend time with every single party. Every single party and say, let us talk about bringing everybody into government, form a government of national unity. As our starting point, because technically we are working towards a government of national unity or a minority government. We anticipated that some of them will say, we don't want to come into government with you, but we can't afford an unstable South Africa, so going from government will support you. That's why we spoke about a minority government with GNU characteristics. So you reach out to everybody, but you already know in your mind that, okay, you know, when I talk to these ones, this will be their posture. When I talk to these ones, this will be their posture. And we literally spoke to every part. And some of them said, okay, we are prepared to come in Mararabatuma. And we said, no, now we're talking to everybody. If you want to come in, you can't put conditions. Come in. You know, Arbuisane. And we spent significant time with these parties trying to say that we're at a critical point as a republic in terms of our economy, in terms of the quality of our democracy, people's disengagement from the democratic project, etc. We're a country that is teetering on the brink of tension because of the political tension in our country. There are problems. Let's come together and solve the problems. We'll contest the next election. And some of them said no. So the DA says no. We'll come in, but we don't want those other cars. And we said, no, we're talking to those other cars. So, I can't go now, we are generous, we're the ANC. They might call it what they want to do, but the truth is, we said to them several times, we will talk to PFF, we will talk to MKP. I said, no, we're coming in, but no, and they said, no, we just want IFP. They said, no, this is well IFP, we want IFP. Now, we talk about IFP, but no, about it well. But no, about it well. And we spoke to all of them. All of them, correct. It was interesting. Papa is the ANC, you know, when the party a formula for it, ANC because no can balance. So, so, come on, UKP, I don't think come on, UKP. How do I tell you that people? Comrade Chair, I must be cognizant. He thought I'm going to speak for another hour, so I can't. So, Mama, if you can go on your one, so our needs. I don't know, problem is not for the Cocker Kenya, Mansana, Rabita ANC, political representative, Rabita ANC, a lot of tools. So, Rafoma part. So if you understand how people expect the ANC to do, they expect us for how a little problem look at it. ANC is the economic. So ANC translates the economic. Marli Bonner Copan Rano Aski is the hair. But that problem is a problem you can get. So everything that is done, comrades, RC, Copan is at the better. You know, we said, raise a peace. And then others said, no, give color, something. And not what you were saying. And then you can get a deputy minister for and others gave us all sorts of conditions. And there are others that decided to stay out. MKP, the Rocky Islam, they were no, the National Democratic Revolution will run come out. I'm going to get a reform government. The struggle of the people, maybe one more it's not for government. I don't know, we must discuss the role of the president. No, let's not discuss the president, they're not going to discuss it. Yeah. So I'll start with the president. arguing government. Up until the last day, nobody decided. In fact, by the okay, no, I don't think so. Arguing after the I didn't meet that. So that discuss up. And then we said, okay, KZN. Our principle is that the largest political party must lead informed government. So KZN, we are leaving it to the largest party to invite people to form government. But no, okay, who's the second biggest party? You are the second biggest party. The owners is on you to form. We are former government. And now people say, man, why did you exclude? Okay, no. I never exclude. Our pizza anybody. They didn't invite anybody into the government. We are the biggest party national. We invited them. We are the biggest party in Gauteng. We invited them. And they said they're not coming. They are the biggest party in KZN. Oh, what would Tibangadi? So the government was formed. But as I conclude, I want to make the point. So that's how the government of National Unity was established. Or we invited everybody. Those that are outside excluded themselves. They excluded themselves. Not because we didn't invite them. And they had conditions to say, okay, last day, President Seta KFL. President Seta voted these are our conditions. So you have a separate agreement with us than you have with other parties. No, but you have one agreement. So we can't have a separate agreement with you. You have to sign on the same statement of intent that every other party has signed. But no, our condition is sign and give out coffee and Marguna are signing a separate. The last point I want to make is that one of the advantages with the ANC entering those negotiations is we entered on the basis of principle. Retaining on the basis of principle, and we started negotiating and we said, here's a draft statement of intent. There are foundational principles and there's a minimum program. Let's negotiate. So we put our agenda in the manifesto, right where okay, these are the foundational principles and the statement of intent. They tweak here and there. But our advantage is that everybody had to negotiations. Now work out how many seats am I getting. Let's agree on what brings us together first, before we agree on how to form government. No. Yeah, statement of intent, just change this sentence here, just add one, rewrite argument modalities. So if you look at that statement of intent and you read our manifesto, you will see the correlation. Because we negotiated on the basis of our manifesto. That's why the people voted for us. And that's what we took to the government of National Unity. And the other people were talking about who gets what minister, what, how many. So by the time we get up on how many ministers, who is getting, National Security Manifesto as the basis of forming the government of National Unity. So if you read that statement of intent, you look at the foundational principles, the minimum program, the program error. And then we debate modalities of government, how we form government. Yeah, that's why the people were interested. No, we want this, what. DA was even arguing for what's called silk mandates. Silk mandates, you won't give us a portfolio. If I'm the Minister of Agriculture, the Deputy Minister of Agriculture will mine, the DG will mine, the DG. There is no constitution. Our single biggest weapon in those negotiations was the constitution. Because they would come with strange demands and say, okay, I'm willing for constitution. That's why in the foundational principles, we start with the constitution. Because what are kind of silk mandates and they come with all sorts of strange requests and you say, oh, okay, no, we hear you, but let's read the country's constitution. And they say, no, budget must be sent to parties. We say, no. Yes, foundational principle, we agree. First thing, constitutionalism and the rule of law. The law says that the Minister of Finance shall do 1, 2, 3. You can't change the law in the negotiation. So we're able to secure those things. And of course, we're able to secure that no, it's not proportional representation in the government. We are forming government. And at the point that we form government, we know for let's say sharp. Lava Karinala 50% plus 1 certain money. So, since about Samachakatu, the certain 50% plus 1 year will because you know when you follow social media, you would swear that we didn't have everything. Everybody was anxious for it, but why don't negotiate a potato? Now, the next way. Or how I come to the Copa kind of for a certain part, something about negotiations, refer it to cover. And then they go to the newspaper to mobilize. So they were trying to use the newspaper. You know, on the last day, we woke up, because now the negotiations are done, we submitted everything. So now we've said, okay, everything else is from the leaders of the parties. And they made all sorts of strange demands. Wake up. The president has just sent a draft. Dear John. I am not going to go. Or they create a 4% to someone. Dear John, because he was able to, at the last point, give us the direction that we're supposed to take. And he said, well, this far and no further. So ultimately, he was able to ensure that we're able to secure what we secured, even after they were making unreasonable demands. We can give credit to the president for doing that. In fact, he said to us in the first meeting, after the minister, you know, now that we've given you mandate and you're going to ANC, you must understand that you are going to be conservative. But understand another thing. I will be called the first seller. So you guys can take comfort in the fact that I am going to take the biggest amount of attack for the results of what is happening. So when we see people making the noises, we remember his words. When he said, you know, you guys are going to be called sellouts, you just have to live with it. It's part of the reality of being leaders of this movement. But live with the comfort that I'm going to be called the first sellout. And today we can witness his prophetic words because he knew the sort of attack we will go through. At this point, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Parks. Thank you. I have no doubt, comrades, that this input, dear Comrade Parks, actually provokes a whole lot of many discussions, a whole lot of engagement. But there's not another problem. Mocha Cafe are the sponsors of today's lunch. So finally another event and about late because we but it's a lunch ka 4. So give me about pressurizer because they need to go and cater for what Baba is somewhere. Now actually saving the Comrade Parks, they give me at least 5 minutes. That question. Break a lunch speeding, come back, and then from there engage with them at least for 5 minutes. With your permission, Comrade Parks. Thank you very much. I was diplomatic, I was in the negotiations. Comrade, we'll take a small break, just have food and then quickly, and then please, let's come back. Can we do it 10 to 5? Can we be back, all possible, in the next 20 minutes or so? Is that fine, comrades?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Let's take a break. Let's go.